Hi everyone, this is Scott Dudley from Funnel Fella Radio, and today my special guest is Zac Hansen, the founder of Hansen Co Digital up in Canada. So how's it going, Zac?
It's going great, Scott. Thanks so much for having me.
No worries. Glad to have you on the show. So let's start off maybe by going back to the very start and talking a little bit about your background and how you got into marketing and funnels in particular.
Yeah, so I got my start, funny enough, kind of in the marketing space because I was always doing sales before. Was working for different tech startups and was helping grow like a number of kind of, I want to see like kind of closer to Series A, but seed round tech startups in a sales role. And I always knew I wanted to get into marketing because I just liked, sales is very one-to-one and marketing is just one-to-many. And so I actually got my start in kind of the marketing world back in 2017 and started building like Facebook Messenger chatbots. I kind of partnered with a group called Bot Academy, which Andrew Werner taught. And so I went through there and I started learning about building, messenger marketing bots. And that kind of is where everything started. So one thing led to another, basically went from Messenger to Facebook ads. And I transitioned into kind of a full funnel agency helping coaches when I had a coach come to me who's a great guy named Dan Candell. And he was telling me, he's like, hey, I really want you to run ads for me. However, I was looking at his funnel and, like kind of the work, like all his marketing assets that he had. And I'm just like, thinking, because I'd had this happen in the past where someone came to me for Facebook ads and they needed something totally different. So you know what? I really think that you need like a clean offer. You need a new funnel. And so that's really how I shifted from Facebook ads to funnels. It was very, very organically. And I love that. One of my favorite things about kind of building funnels for clients is that rather than just someone kind of owning one part of the process, I really like to control the whole thing and advise on all of it, because I think a lot of people have that idea where if I can just get my Facebook ads working, or if I can fix my email sequence or something like that, then everything will be better. However, what I always see is that it's a whole big picture that you need to work on. So I really started my funnel agency, I want to say back in January this year, so 2020. And since then, we've worked with about 6 really great coaches. So I can tell you more about that a little later, what we've done for them.
Okay, it sort of reminds me a little bit about my story, where I sort of started off as a direct response copywriter and then discovered the funnel world and sort of realized that copywriting was an important, but just one part of the overall, process of how people make sales. And it's sort of, once you see the big picture, it's good to get the overall sort of perspective rather than just concentrating on one little area. Like you did with your chatbot. So it's a similar sort of progression to what I had.
Oh yeah. And I was in the direct response world too. Like I love copywriting. I absolutely love it. I think if I had to do one thing, it would probably just be write copy all day. But
Okay.
so we definitely share that foot anyway.
Cool. All right. So let's jump more into the present then, and tell me a little bit about your agency, Hansen Co Digital, and also about the 5-step audit that you offer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hansen Co Digital is, I have a feeling, is going to be rebranded in the name, but don't worry, we'll talk about that later. And what that is we basically help coaches and consultants book strategy sessions with qualified prospects. Because the way I always see it is that there's a lot of really great coaches out there right now. And the problem is that a lot of them just get clients from local events or their own network. And when COVID hit, that really changed a lot of things for a lot of coaches, because they could no longer go to local events, and they were great. They could get up on stage, just kind of do their thing and, have 5 or 6 new clients just show up because they'd see them speaking, right?
Yeah.
But now that that's kind of not really an option anymore, a lot more are moving digitally. So what I do is I set up like a simple kind of 4-step funnel to help them just book high quality strategy sessions with qualified people. And the way we do it is we're making sure it's a little bit different from traditional kind of where you're giving something like a lead magnet. We actually do what's kind of called a direct to offer funnel. And if you want, I can talk about that now, or we can talk about that a little later. But the audit, what makes that so powerful is I created this actually while I was a copywriter, and I loved it because Brian Kurtz, who you interviewed on the show,
Yes. Yes.
actually talked about the 41% rule, or it's like he says 41-39. It's technically 40-40-20, but I like in
Yeah.
his book Over Deliver, he tweaked it a little bit. I think he said it was like 41% traffic, 39% offer, and then 20% copy. And
Yep.
so regardless, the big thing is that the offer is one of the most important things. I think traffic is also very important, but it's a lot easier now if you just know how to do a little bit of simple Facebook targeting. So, the offer is like the big component. And so that audit on the page, or as you can download from my website there, will actually show you like 5 simple ways that you can drastically improve your offer. And, one of the things Russell talks about, which I love, is like, okay, how can you take an offer and like 10x it? Like if you're going to charge $1,000 for it, like how can you give $10,000 of value?
Yeah.
So that's really the goal with that, is to really self-audit your offer and say, okay, how can I improve this even more than what I've done right now?
Yeah, exactly. So you're wowing people basically, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so talking a little bit about your team, how many team members do you have, including yourself?
Yeah, so we've got 3 right now. So we've got myself, we've got a copywriter, as well as someone helping build the funnels. I love the strategy part. I don't like kind of working in the meshes, as far as like the technical putting together the funnels. Like I love the strategy part. So we got 3 of us right now, and definitely growing.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so what sort of funnels do you build for clients? You sort of alluded to that a little bit before, but yeah.
I'll go into it a little bit more here. So it's like a lot of people, because typically, like, when you build application funnels to try to book calls, the typical format I'll see out there is like some sort of an opt-in for lead magnet, and then they have like a little video saying like, hey, thanks so much for downloading this, and then they will try to get that person to book a phone call from watching that video. However, what I realized and actually learned from a mentor is that it's so much easier to go like for a direct offer style funnel. And so we actually kind of flip that script a little bit. And in the Facebook ad, we specifically say that we are looking for clients. Like we basically say we are looking for 10 ambitious clients. If you're interested, here's the free case study. And so the funnel is like basically a simple Facebook ad. It's going to like an opt-in page where it's not really an opt-in. It's more just saying like, get the free case study, but we're looking for new clients. And then on the next page, there's an application form, as well as a video and just a sea of testimonials. And I've just found that works extremely well. Like we just tested, I'll tell you a little later. And the results are great. Like we can start getting application calls right away, where I've had horror stories of trying to go kind of the more marketing approach, doing a lead magnet. And it's just tough. Like it's really tough to get applications if you do this the wrong way, for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, if you do it the way that most other people are doing it, it's sort of everybody's seen that before. Whereas if you do something a little bit different, then it tends to have different results. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Because there's so much market saturation now, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you look at it out there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So do you also offer traffic and optimization services as well as just the funnels?
Yeah, that's correct. So actually part of our funnel package, like our initial core kind of like getting started working with us, does include some traffic, because I am kind of in the mentality where if you're gonna, I feel like a lot of coaches come in, they think they need the funnel, but if we just build the funnel for them, then they're not actually getting any clients with that, because you need the traffic.
Yeah.
So we do offer like kind of a funnel optimization service as you continue working with us. But for that initial kind of funnel build, we actually want to make sure that we can get you your offer tested. So that means like, if let's say we try an offer, because you can't ever say something's going to work right away. As marketers, I always think we're taking our best hypothesis and we're running with it. So if what we'll do is we'll build an offer and we'll actually test Facebook ads to make sure it's working, so that I can confidently say, okay, this funnel will convert. It's not like you're wondering, you're worried about it. So part of our kind of initial process is making sure that you do have some traffic running there so we can test, see the numbers. And then we do have kind of like an optimization package on the back end where we'll say, okay, if you want us to continue running our ads, improving the funnel, testing different offers even, then we'll continue doing that for you.
Is there like a minimum period that somebody needs to sign up for? Because obviously it's pretty hard to get results after, say, 6 weeks. You would need like a minimum period to at least commit to, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Actually, like for the funnel build, not really. Like we normally find that you can test, and we kind of have, like, I call it the $150 test, which is basically if you launch something and you spend $150 and you don't get an application, then something's wrong. So it's actually like, it's a little bit different compared to a lot of people where you have to do like a lot of tweaking and stuff like that, because the way we write our ad copy makes it very clear, like, again, what the offer is. So we know, like, the only thing we're looking at is the offer. We're really more trying to do a sales focused approach rather than a marketing approach. So we actually don't have minimum contracts. And the reason why is, like, of course, I'll explain to the clients, that, things will get better over time. But most of the time, that first month, like, I want to see you getting results. Like, I don't think that should just be a testing period where you're blowing cash, like other agencies I've heard do.
Yeah, fair enough. So you really aim for the quick win to get the customer excited. Yeah.
I put myself in their shoes. Again, it's not like these people are like, multi 7-figure companies. Like, most of them are kind of low to mid 6 figures.
Yeah.
And if I put myself in their shoes, I invest a big chunk of change to get this funnel built. I would want results before I keep deciding I have to pay someone for another 3 months, right? Or something, right? Something to see.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it's a little, I understand it's a little different if you're kind of running marketing for a huge conglomerate, or not even huge, but like just a 7-figure company, because there's so many elements, right? But for this, I always put myself in their shoes. I'm like, what would I want if I was in this position? And for me, like, I just never like contracts. I know a lot of people do. But for me, I prefer just like kind of a flexible agreement where they can cancel if they're not happy, but I want to do everything I can to make sure they're happy. Actually, one thing we're looking at doing it more of as well is more revenue share kind of deals, where we actually like come in and we help with kind of group coaching programs. We set up like, kind of the systems you need to actually scale it, and then also take a percentage of revenue as well.
So that way you've sort of got some skin in the game as well, I guess. So it's incentive as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love it. I love that. It's more motivation for me, for sure.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Yep. So tell us about one of your most successful marketing campaigns and why you believe it performed so well.
Yeah. So I'll give you 2 for this. So we actually just launched one of these funnels like last week. Where it was like, again, it was direct to offer, right? The ad copy was okay. It was pretty short. But it was directly calling out saying, hey, if I can help you do this, would you take me up on that offer? I'm looking for 10 new clients, kind of thing. And we launched that in under $100. We got, for just one client, we got 2 applications right off the bat. And then one of those people, he said, oh, this is like my perfect ideal customer. And he's like 95% sure he's going to close it. And that person to him is worth like almost probably $5,000 to $10,000 in the long run. So that's incredible. Off kind of $100 right off the bat. But I think one of my favorite ones is actually testing this through email. So if a client comes to us and they have a lot of assets like in place, like let's say they've spent a lot of time building an email list, which happens a lot, right? Like they'll try to do the lead magnet approach or contest or quiz or something like that, and they'll really fill up their email list, but they won't do anything. And you can take the same kind of direct to offer approach right through email. And you just kind of say, like, as those 9-word emails by
Dan Jackson.
Dean Jackson. Yeah, exactly.
Dean Jackson. Yeah.
Dean Jackson. Exactly. So I love that concept. I think that's, if you're listening to this podcast and you have an email list, you should definitely Google 9-word email and try it out. Because I bet you can get some clients out of it. So we took a very similar approach where we basically just put quick question in the subject line, and we basically just recited the offer. and we said, hey, I'm looking for 5 people that are looking to XYZ. Would you take me up on that? And I get an email from my client back after we launched that, and he said, yeah, like I am so busy responding to all of these emails. Like he just absolutely got his inbox flooded with people that said like, yeah, I would love that. I would love that. I would love that. So I feel like this is such a great thing when you can figure out the direct to offer, because it's just, you can use it through your email, you can use it through your social networks. Like I know people are even doing it on LinkedIn, which is something I kind of want to look at in the future.
Yeah.
So I would say like just flooding people's calendars. I love that. I love that. And I know he was incredibly busy for a very long time because of what was coming in from that.
So yeah, you sort of created another problem, but that's a good problem to have.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
those are always the good ones. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. Yeah. Okay. So what are your favorite online tools and platforms that you use to run your business?
Okay. So I'm funny enough, a really big tech junkie. So I could probably go on all day about this. So I would say the big ones I use right now is like for funnel wise anyway, I'll be funnel specific. I love using Funnelytics first,
Yep.
because it's just such a great tool that you can map everything out. And I am the farthest person from a Google Analytics nerd, had no interest in becoming a data analyst, although I should learn a little bit more. But I love Funnelytics to be able to see, just exactly kind of each part, right? Like, and know exactly what my conversion rates are in a snapshot. Because I know
Yep.
Facebook doesn't capture everything all the time, especially with more people using ad blockers and stuff. And I know Funnelytics has a little bit of that problem, but I feel like sometimes they pick up more. So I love
Interesting.
Funnelytics.
Yep.
And for funnels, I actually really like using, I'm testing this one called Drop Funnels right now. And it seems
Okay.
like a very, very great tool. I've tried ClickFunnels as well. And the thing I like about Drop Funnels is it's just a little bit faster. Like page load speed is a big one for me. So I know, honestly, I have clients using ClickFunnels and I love it too. But for me, just Drop Funnels is what I'm testing right now because it seems to be able to have a lot faster page load speed, which is very important when you're driving any sort of cold traffic. And another one I would say, like I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. One of them is, I actually just slipped the name of it. It's a great search tool, and what you can do is I use this for kind of competitive research. If you onboard a new client or you want to like look a little bit more about their competitors, for example, and you can basically, I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up, and we can put it in the show notes for after.
Okay.
But it's like you punch in a search term, and it basically pulls up a web, and you can see all of the different search terms coming off of it. And it's so great to be able to really see a lot of research that people are searching for. It's like where something, I can't remember the full name, but I'll find it for you and put it in the show notes if everyone's interested.
I think I've used it before. I can't think of the name either, though. Yeah.
I know it just slipped my mind. I had it ready to go, and I don't know. It's just one of those brain farts here. But it's
Yeah.
a phenomenally good tool if you need to do any sort of research. So if you want to figure out what people are Googling, that is a really good way to go about doing that. And actually, last but not least, which is a personal tool I use, is one called Roam. You can use Roam Research. You can use this for your team. However, what's really cool about it is if people use something like Workflow or Evernote or Dynalist, for example, what this thing does is it's kind of like a web of information that's all connected. So it's like you have, I really love doing it for research. So if I have like a specific client I'm researching, I'll put their name in. And what I can do is I can connect all these different ideas. Like, let's say I have an idea about the offer or the traffic or competitors, right? And I can link all these different subpages to him or to that client very, very easily. And it's a little bit complicated to explain, but think of like having a web of information where Evernote is very like hierarchical. I can't pronounce that word right now. Hierarchical. So that's like you
Yeah.
have a folder, right? You have all
Yeah.
these different kind of notes in there. Where this is like you have kind of a hive mind, and
Yeah. I
it's
see.
really, really cool what you can do with that. Because I just love being able to like brainstorm ideas and write them down somewhere. And normally, like half those ideas would get lost. So I love this to be able to like really just kind of have all of that information on clients, on projects, like everything just in one place. It works extremely well.
So what's it called? Rome Research, is it?
Yeah, Rome Research.
Just ROME as in the place.
Yep, like ROAM, like
Oh,
not
oh,
sorry, not Rome the city, like Rome, like ROAM. But
yeah,
it's a
okay.
great tool. Like if you've
Yeah,
tried Evernote or something like that and it's not working for you, check this one out because it just works so well.
okay, yeah. Cool. All right, so what are some of the biggest and most common mistakes that you see your clients making?
Oh, I would say trying to do marketing first. I would say that's a really big one. Um, and trying to just publish content over and over and over again. I know content has its place, but if you are not making offers to people, then you're going to not make money because in this world, there is just an absolute sea of content out there. And if you are just focused on publishing content, which I know some people were, like some of my clients were just like, they have a podcast, they're publishing every day on social media, they're trying to do everything. And I think if you want to publish, great, stick with one. That's awesome. Like stick with one medium, but you really should be focused on making offers to people. That is like a really big one. And I would also say, even with your like online marketing, where if you're running traffic to something, focus on like the sale and the offer first. I ran a campaign where I was getting ridiculous. It was like direct to a lead magnet funnel, and I was getting ridiculously great leads. Like I was spending $1 or less than $1 sometimes per lead. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm so excited. But nobody actually filled out the calendar to book an appointment. Like it never happened. It absolutely never happened. We got tons of leads. But you know, you really want to focus always going to like direct to offer first, because doing the lead magnet approach, it works, but it just takes longer because, you know, you have to really make sure all of your pieces are in place, like so honed and perfect. Or I find it's not going to work. That's my experience. I know someone else would probably say something different, but for me, if you can go direct to offer and just make offers to people, you are going to be so much more successful than someone that is constantly just doing marketing and trying to like publish tons of content and be everywhere. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. And I
Yeah,
mean, every post should really have a purpose to it as well, which should usually
exactly.
have a call to action or at least ask them to do something. So yeah, a lot of people are just publishing stuff and there's no call to action at all. So
Yeah, there's no direction to it. There's no thought behind it other than like I need to publish X number of pieces of content each week,
yeah,
right? And it's like a number, but it's not like a purpose. And I think you nailed that on the head. That's a really great point.
yeah, exactly. Just sort of going through the motions, just publishing content for the sake of publishing. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. You need to have a strategy behind
yeah,
all of that, or you're going to waste a lot of time, right?
yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the biggest challenge that you have to consistently have to face while running your agency?
Ooh, let me think. That's a great question. I would say the biggest challenge would be, I would say constantly like tweaking things a little bit. And I'm just trying to think. You know, I'm going to go back on that. I would say the biggest challenge for me is trying to get my clients to email every day and B, charge more. Because one of the things I always tell my clients, like as soon as I walk in, for example, I've got this great chiropractic coach I'm working with, and he has like his family ran one of the largest chiropractic operations in the US. So he really knows what he's doing. The results he has are incredible. And, you know, when I asked him how much he charges, he's like, oh, around 2,000. And I'm like, no. We need to get that up to like $5, even like $10,000 because of what he can do. Like he can bring like $100 to $1 million in value to someone.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I would say a big one is being able to charge, like, and just kind of getting over that and helping them get through that mentality that, hey, you need to be charging way more than what you're charging because you're worth that. The second thing I would say is emailing their list every day. And now I could go about and kind of set up a service to charge these people to write emails for them. But because they're all kind of at that stage where they're the voice of the business, really, I really think that one of the most profitable activities anybody could do is writing an email to their list every single day. And if I try to tell them that, I would say I'm still working on that. And I'm thinking of just building a little email course for my clients specifically, because I keep telling them, hey, you guys have this list here. If you simply just start emailing this list every day, you're going to flood your inbox with clients because they're just going to keep seeing you over and over and over again. But also with the message, hey, book a call here. So I would say the big two are like getting them to raise their prices and emailing every day. That's like the big two for me. And I've tried very hard to, I keep telling them the incentives and everything on that on the email side. But it's challenging for people. And I understand that, like, everyone is very, very busy and they think, oh, now I got to write an email, right? I would personally rather they write emails than doing any other social media or marketing stuff. But if you can get in the habit of writing an email every day, I would say do it, because it's going to be one of the most profitable activities you do for your business.
Yeah, absolutely agree. As far as getting your clients to charge more, I mean, that's also going to make it easier for you to make a profit for them as well, and actually get them results. So that's an easy way to put more money in their pocket.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and then
huge difference.
yeah, so that's a top idea actually. And then regarding the emails, the issue I had with doing it every day was that it's very hard to come up with ideas, or good ideas. I mean, it's easy to produce content for the sake of producing content, like we just talked about. But as far as coming up with good ideas and writing something that is interesting and also entertaining and inspiring, that is a challenge. And I've personally had trouble with that myself. So I can relate to your clients' concerns.
I get that. Do you want me to address that? Because I've got like just some ideas on how to come up with ideas on that.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd say the easiest thing is like just bring a notepad with you and live your life, and you can write about absolutely anything. Like, for example, I know I always follow Ben Settle, who just writes about absolutely
Yes.
everything. But if you're like reading a book, watching a movie, having a conversation with someone, looking at something interesting outside, like I think he wrote an email about dog poo.
He
So
did.
there's,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
so it's always, I think like what you have to do is realize that there's a difference between trying to like write an email about trying to pitch yourself and kind of blending it together with a story about what happened. And you could even, honestly, if you go into Facebook groups and you just look through like where your people are hanging out and pick like one thread, because there's always, like, I swear every single day in a Facebook group, there's like one or two really big threads going on. And you could, even on LinkedIn, same thing. There's always like some people that have really boosted or kind of like high up, lots of engagement posts. And you could just take that, or a Google search about what your niche might be interested in, right? And find like some of the top articles and just say like, I was reading this article and I have to like either agree or disagree, and then lead that to flipping back to how, because the structure to write an email is just having like a story, like, so have a hook, like hook the email. I was doing this, kind of talk about leading into the story, tell a little bit about the story, segue to what you do and how it's relevant to you, and then give them a pitch. Say like, yeah, and that's why, because of what this person wrote about in the article is so true, I actually emphasize this in XYZ, right? Where many others don't. And if you want more of that, book a call or buy my thing, right?
Yeah.
So the thing with email, I find, is just go outside, walk around, go for a walk. Like if you're struggling with ideas, just go for a walk. That's the easiest one I found. Or go do some push-ups or do some exercise, because I always find that a lot of us get trapped to our chairs. And I am so guilty of this as well, where our brain just starts going foggy and it's like so hard to come up with things. And if you're in that stage, just like go for a walk, go do some push-ups, like go do some exercise, something to get that blood flowing. And I guarantee you'll probably just be like, oh, that's a good idea. Like something like that. Even maybe if it's for an email or something else, it's so phenomenal to, as funnel builders here, we're always like, I feel like we're always in chairs. So it's so important to get outside.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I even bought an adjustable desk that you can stand up or sit down, but I tend to not use it, and I tend to sit down most of the time. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I was looking at one of those. I was always curious. So I mean, I think actually one of the coolest things I saw was someone on one of those treadmills walking, and I'm like, okay, definitely gonna get one of those for sure. They had like their computer hooked up, and they had a treadmill they were actually walking on, which I thought was so cool because it's like
Well,
exercise, you're thinking and you're working.
speaking of Ben Settle, I'm pretty sure he's got one of those as well. So yeah, that's a good
Oh,
point.
does he?
Yeah,
That's
I'm pretty
awesome.
sure he does. Yeah. So you're exercising while you're working, but yeah, the one I've got is just an adjustable one that you lift up and down. But
That's cool too. I think anything. I've tried the standing desks. I feel like standing all day is a myth. I just don't think people. Maybe if you're a superhuman, you can do it. I can do it for like 3 hours, 4 hours,
yeah, you get sore
and
legs
then I
after a
gotta sit.
while. Yeah,
Exactly.
agreed. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, cool. So let's have a little bit of a look at the future. What are you curious about or researching right now regarding digital marketing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say like right now, actually my focus is more because I really want to just as I preach here, I love offers. So right now, my focus right now is actually learning more about offers and the way even like people through time, like Ogilvy and all these guys have used offers in the past for something that maybe wasn't even so like I'm going to help you get this transformation. It's a lot more subtle in the messaging. So what I'm really focused on right now is offers. I really, because I just see that is like the key piece of the pie that so many people are missing. And also the next thing for me is like leadership and scaling a team, because that's definitely going to be happening as we grow here. And being able to focus and lead is so damn important. And it's for me, just be upfront and honest, like I'm coming from that position where I've been a freelancer my whole life. And so shifting to that team mentality is, it's a new thing for me too. So that is one thing I'm learning about as well. But marketing side, it's offers. On the business side, it's like leadership and scaling a business.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same where, I've got a long freelancer background and I still haven't been able to move completely into the agency world, actually owning an agency yet. So it is a huge step, but very sort of worthwhile moving
Mm-hmm.
from the freelancer to own the agency and to delegate the work. And then that way, at least you can scale your business. So yeah,
Exactly.
I agree with you.
And I think I mean, you're in the same boat. If you're a copywriter too, you're always like, oh, I should just do this. Like, yeah. And so that's one thing for me for sure. Like my goal is to be able to like, add a few more clients. I have an X number I'm looking for without actually doing any of the work myself, just focusing on strategy. And so I need to make sure that I have the right teams and systems in place to be able to do that. And when you're a freelancer, that can be tough because you're so used to doing everything yourself. But I gotta say, after bringing a copywriter on board, like my world changed, because this guy I found is amazing. He's actually from Canada as well.
Okay.
But he is just a hard worker and he knows how to write good copy. And so it's so refreshing to be able to kind of work on your own things and
Yeah.
tell him, okay, we need to finish this up. And being able to see, someone write stuff that's probably better than what you could write, and saying, okay, this is good. This is good. No, I'm on the right path here. But
Absolutely.
I think that's a problem, a bit of a problem as well, I think, for my clients too. And I know they'll get to that point where you're at that point where you're doing everything themselves, whether it's coaching, and even working with your clients one-on-one. And I think everyone needs to kind of learn how they can like step out of that and build the systems, so that what you do is systematized to the point where a team could come in and do it for you. Because especially a lot of my clients, they're in the same boat where, everyone wants that like lifestyle, kind of being
Yeah.
able to work 30-hour weeks, and also scale a really big business.
Yeah.
But the problem is, if you're doing everything yourself, you're never going to be able to do that. You're the bottleneck, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think that's a big thing for all of us that we all should really work on. That's my perspective on it anyway.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah. Okay. So who are your marketing idols or the biggest influences in your career?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say, I mainly copywriters, funny enough. So I'm a huge Ben Settle fan. One person I absolutely love is Chris Orvakowski. He's a great email copywriter, and just getting on his list is a lot of entertainment. I really love Brunson to talk about offers, and of course, just the way he's grown ClickFunnels is like just remarkable at a very I feel like I'm downplaying that with saying remarkable, because what he's done is just extraordinary.
Yeah.
I love Mikel Dia for what he's done with Funnelytics. I think he's got a fantastic product there, as well as Alex Becker. Alex Becker is really interesting to me because he was kind of the make money online guy, you know, teaching like Shopify courses back in the day. And now he's growing a software program called Hyros that does like print tracking, which is very, very cool technology because, you know, everyone's got an ad blocker on their computer now. They all block those pixels. And so what his system does is it somehow goes around ad blockers to give you like 100% data and actually like feed it back to your ad manager. So I think the funnels he builds for Hyros and for he's got like kind of an iron YouTube consulting program they're always entertaining to me. They just entertain me and they're like, oh yeah, sure, I want to watch more of this. So I think he would be another one as well.
That's interesting. So that sounds like where he sort of solved his own problem and then ended up like selling the software to everybody else, which is a great idea. It's similar to
a good way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to what Mikel's done with Funnelytics. He sort of solved his own problem and then sold it as a software.
Exactly. Well, he actually just started working with ClickFunnels too, which is very cool. So he's really growing that company rapidly. So they just started using, it could just be like a test for now. I just saw it in his group, but he said he was super excited that they're going to start rolling out his software for ClickFunnels to track all of their campaigns as well, which is pretty damn cool to say the least.
Okay, I keep seeing him pop up advertising his YouTube course. He must be retargeting me. Like just every day I see him on there in his apartment with the big high rise at the back and advertising his YouTube program. But yeah,
exactly. So he's everywhere. There's a few I actually really like on marketers too. The guys from Traffic and Funnels. I've learned a lot from them too. And I mean, there's so many good ones, right? Like I could go on, like, you know, Sam Ovens, I think has a place in my heart too for what he's done. And I would say those are kind of the big ones though that I follow. And I love big shout out to Kevin Rogers from Copy Chief too, because he's helped me a lot in the direct response world and on everything. I think he's a really smart dude.
Yeah, I used to be a member of Coffee Chief.
It's great.
Yeah,
nice.
That's a cool community as well.
Back in the direct response days, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was sort of before the funnels. So anyway, to wrap up, where can people go to find out more about your services and or your products?
Well, I would say just go to zachansen.com for now, download the 5-step audit, because that's going to show you really how to improve your offers. And that is all going to be rebranded in the future, but that site will probably redirect over there. So I would say the best place is go to zachansen.com, check out my stuff. And if you want to set up a call, you can also see my info there. So I would say the one thing you can do for yourself is definitely improve your offer. Always improve your offer. So I hope if you check out that audit that it can help you.
Perfect. All right. So thanks very much for your time. Really appreciate the insights that you've shared with us today. And I guess we'll call it a day. Thanks, Zac.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
No problem. See you later. Bye.